for his third and final rally of the day. The president also had rallies in Ohio and North Carolina, which brings me to this. Trump's closing hard. That's the subject of tonight's TuWatters Words. Last Saturday, we told you the tide was turning in the campaign. Trump recovered from the virus and restarted his rallies. Pence crushed Kamala Harris at the debate. Amy Coney Barrett sailed through the hearings, and Biden got rocked by a major scandal and big tech censored it. I said that if Trump rode this wave, he'd have the momentum to win. And after this last week, he still has it. Trump gave 12 speeches in 10 swing states this week. Biden gave 4 speeches in 3 states all week, and barely anybody showed up. One of the speeches was in Delaware, not really known as a battleground. His last press conference was in September. Biden's fading, and the more the media tries to drag him across the finish line, the worse they look. Trump sat down with Leslie Stahl for 60 minutes, and she embarrassed herself. Her interview was so biased, Trump released the raw interview before it aired, just to show the country how dishonest the mainstream media is. Now, Fox isn't airing the raw footage for legal reasons, but go online, after TuWatters World, of course, and what you'll see is a so-called journalist with solid pedigree from a prestigious network not do her homework, lie about what the president said to his face, and not even know that his campaign was wiretapped. She told Trump she wouldn't air anything he said about Hunter Biden's laptop. It's unbelievable. Now, Trump's cornered the media. If the media reports on the Biden family scandal, they'll destroy their candidate. But if they don't report on the scandal, they'll destroy their credibility. And guess what's happening? The media is sacrificing their credibility just to elect their candidate. But the risk is huge, because if Biden loses, both are destroyed. But the dam is breaking. The media can't hold it up much longer. A former business partner of the Biden family has come forward and blown the lid off the scandal. He has impeccable credentials, a former naval officer whose only donations have gone to Democrats.
I've heard Joe Biden say that he's never discussed business with Hunter. That is false. I have firsthand knowledge about this because I directly dealt with the Biden family, including Joe Biden. On May 13, 2017, I received an email concerning allocation of equity, which says 10% held by H for the big guy. In that email, there's no question that H stands for Hunter, big guy for his father, Joe Biden. On numerous occasions, it was made clear to me that Joe Biden's involvement was not to be mentioned in writing, but only face-to-face.
This is a credible witness claiming the Biden family cooked up a deal while Joe was VP, and afterwards they designed a scheme for him to get kickbacks from a communist Chinese energy company. He has hard evidence to back this up. The emails are out there. He turned over his phones to federal investigators. The Senate has his phones too. The FBI interviewed the ex-partner on Friday, and there's an open money laundering investigation involving Hunter's laptop. That seems important. One of Hunter's business partners is in federal prison. The other, Devon Archer, is awaiting sentencing. Now, here's Devon Archer with Joe Biden. Biden said he didn't know about his son's business. Right. He just golfs with his business partners before they go to jail. Now, messages suggest Biden was using his office as a cash register. His son and brother were selling access to Joe. Joe was for sale, and foreigners were buying influence. Maybe that's why Joe's been so soft on China his whole career. Follow the money. The Chinese sent $70 million to the Biden Center at the University of Pennsylvania. The school wasn't upfront about it, and Biden pulled a salary from the school. Now, what's that about? Joe's campaign has issued very carefully worded denials, such as, quote, there's no indication Joe's gotten money from these deals, or nobody has held stock for him. Nobody talked about stock. Now, here's the bottom line. Joe looks as crooked as Hillary, and the rigged media is trying to run out the clock. Because if Joe wins, there's no way he survives an investigation into his family's business. So Kamala takes over then. And that's the plan. Donald Trump raised the scandal at the debate on Thursday.
all of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening, and it should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people.
His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
That's exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This is
going.
where he's going. The laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President?
again with Russia.
Now, Joe spent 4 days preparing for that debate, and that's all he's got? It's Russia? Now, if the emails are forgeries, Biden's fine. So why doesn't he just say that? Little advice to reporters. The question to ask, are the emails real or fake, Mr. Vice President? That's it. He can't answer that question because either way he answers it, he digs himself deeper. Trump's getting traction on it, and Biden's on defense. The old VP also sunk himself when he said he'd get rid of the oil industry.
I would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a
because
big statement.
I would stop.
Why would you do that?
Because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
And here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do
statement.
that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies.
We have
And that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
And Team Biden tried to clean that up afterwards, but it was too late. Trump had his best debate in a long time. He was relaxed and optimistic, while Joe was dark and angry. The president accurately framed Joe as a lockdown artist who killed the recovery. And his message that Biden is an all-talk, no-action, lifelong politician really hit home.
He was
Your
there
response.
for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years. And it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. Typical political statement. Let's get off this China thing. And then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it. You have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
Queens.
Queens. Every single poll pretty much afterwards said Trump dominated, and so did the focus groups. That debate had a very big impact. We're in the home stretch with over a week to go, basically. The mail-in ballots and early voting look great for the president. The battlegrounds are tight. He's right where he wants to be. If the next week is as good as the last two, he's got this. I spoke to Senator Ted Cruz about all of this yesterday. Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas. Senator, thanks for joining Waters World.
Jesse, great to be with you.
Are you going to be okay? You guys aren't going to have any oil left after Joe Biden becomes president.
Well, and apparently it's going to be a dark winter as well. So
Yeah.
so hopefully we can at least heat the homes. Thankfully in Texas it's warm at least, so it may be a greater problem in the northern parts of the country.
So what did you think about the debate on Thursday? You had the oil issue that he brought up, not good for a lot of key swing states. Looked like Joe Biden got cornered big time on socialized medicine. The president seemed like he painted Joe as the pro-lockdown candidate and seemed very disciplined. Joe seemed a little shaky, very angry at the end. What was your assessment?
I thought it was a surprisingly good debate. It was as good a debate as the first debate was not. The first debate was a mess where they were yelling at each other the whole time. This one, I actually thought both candidates did quite well. I think Trump won the debate. I think he helped himself significantly more than Biden did. But I actually thought both of them put in strong performances. They did much better. Both of them did much better than previously. Where Trump excelled the most, and I think this is the most important issue, it is what you just mentioned. He made clear that, look, we're coming out of an economic calamity driven by this pandemic. And he made clear that he is for reopening the economy, letting small businesses reopen, letting people go back to work, letting kids go back to school, moving forward and back to prosperity. And it also made very clear that Joe Biden's approach is shut everything down and destroy jobs. And that contrast, I think an awful lot of elections, most elections when people go to the polls, jobs and the economy is front and center, number one. And I think Trump did very, very well on that issue.
I agree wholeheartedly. Also, you have the Biden family China scandal that got talked about a little bit. I don't think you're ever really going to pin Joe down on that. You got to use subpoenas and investigators and testimony if you want to dig deep there. But this country, not a fan of China right now. I think 80% of the country furious with the Chinese communists for letting this virus come here. And then we hate corrupt politicians. And nothing is worse than a corrupt or rigged system protecting a corrupt politician. How have you processed this laptop scandal that seems to be growing every day?
You know, I think what is astonishing is how corrupt the media is. That you have the media and big tech both doing everything they can to try to erase, try to hide the scandal, and to try to protect Joe Biden. We saw last week Twitter and Facebook both banned the New York Post's blockbuster stories breaking the evidence of the scandal. They prohibited users from sharing them online. They shut down the New York Post's own social media account. That has never happened, even in the world of bad conduct and social media censorship. Taking the next step and censoring a major media outlet is uncharted territory, and it's an enormous abuse of power by big tech. That being said, I don't think this issue is going to decide the election. I thought the 10, 15 minutes in the debate last night where they were going back and forth and alleging your family's corrupt, no, your family's corrupt, I think that was probably a wash in that if you're with Trump, you were with him on that. If you're with Biden, you were with him on that. So I was glad the debate fairly quickly shifted away from that stuff and back to why does this make a difference for your family, for your kids, for your future? Because I think those are the issues that Trump wins on.
I do agree. This is about reopening the economy. That's the number one issue. But with weak Biden voters, the suspicion when you have big tech and the media censoring a story, that raises a lot of questions if you're a little bit on the fence. So hopefully you guys are going to do something about that in the Senate. You know, we always talk about hauling these guys in there and giving it to them, and, you know, they continue to censor conservatives.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Next week, Amy Coney Barrett looks like she will be confirmed. And now, after a beautiful hearing put on by you, by the chairman, and by her in particular, a majority of the American people now want to see her confirmed. That's just an astonishing turn of events from when we saw polling early during the first week of the nomination where people were kind of iffy about it. She really moved the needle, and hats off to her.
Well, that's exactly right. I think the last 2 weeks have been very, very good. In her hearing, I think Judge Barrett did a phenomenal job. You saw the Democrats come at her, try to attack her, and I think she was calm, cool, collected. Her temperament was scholarly and judicious. And you quickly saw how bad it was going for Senate Democrats, because by the second day, they were running for the hills. They wanted to get as far away from that hearing room as possible because it wasn't helping them. The American people, I think, were very impressed. The Judiciary Committee, we unanimously voted her out. Now, the reason it was unanimous is because the Democrats boycotted. That they seem to be under the curious impression that they're somehow punishing us by denying us their presence. But be that as it may, actually, another result of the Democratic boycott is we also subpoenaed Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Twitter and Facebook, and the Democrats weren't able to delay it because they didn't show up. Getting Judge Barrett out of committee unanimously was a big deal. She will come to the floor on Monday. By Monday night, Judge Barrett will be Justice Barrett. And I think it's the single biggest and most important decision the president has made in 4 years. Jesse, as you know, I've got a brand new book that just came out a couple of weeks ago called One Vote Away: How a Single Supreme Court Justice Can Change History. And that book became the #1 bestseller in the country on Amazon. It's been on the New York Times bestseller list 3 weeks in a row. And I think the reason people are going and buying the book is because it brings you inside the Supreme Court. It helps you understand in real-world terms, in clear, understandable terms, what's at stake, why this fight is over free speech and religious liberty and the Second Amendment, and how our fundamental rights are really hanging in the balance. I think that is the most important issue at stake on November 3rd.
One vote away, how a single Supreme Court seat can change history. Go check out Ted Cruz's book. And I agree, ending this race with censorship, boycotts, and all else, court packing, I don't think it's a way to finish strong. All right, try to keep the lights on in Texas, okay, Senator?
Excellent.
Thank you. And we're awaiting President Trump in Wisconsin for his third and final rally of the day. Charlie Kirk on deck. President Trump expected to take the stage for his third rally of the day in Waukesha, Wisconsin, keeping up quite a pace. Fox News' Garrett Tenney joins us now from that rally. Garrett.
Well, Jesse, I can tell you Wisconsin feels a lot different than Florida, where President Trump started his day. It is just above freezing here. Now, that isn't really anything new for folks here. That's still ice cream weather in these parts. But we have more than 10,000 people who have come out for this rally in Waukesha, a county President Trump won in 2016 with 61% of the vote. This will be his 5th campaign visit to Wisconsin this year, and he will be back again on Tuesday for another rally. Joe Biden, meanwhile, has only visited the state twice in the past 2 years. Both of those visits coming last month, though the Biden campaign has said he will be back again before the election. Folks at home will remember, though, Wisconsin was key to President Trump's victory in 2016. No Republican had won the state since 1984, and he narrowly won it with less than 23,000 votes. Now the president is hoping to win the state again by an even bigger margin this time around, and he's putting in a lot of time to try and make that happen. Jesse?
All right, stay warm out there, Garrett. We appreciate it. With 10 days left to go till Election Day, President Trump is competing hard in the battlegrounds. Here are some of the polls that came out this week. The latest Trafalgar poll in Wisconsin shows Biden only up by a single point. And in Pennsylvania, only leading by 2 points. An Emerson poll from Georgia shows Trump leading Biden. I think he'll win by a little bit more than that. And Trump's also edging Biden out in North Carolina by a point. Fox News shows Trump beating Joe Biden by 3 points in Ohio. I think he'll do a little bit better there, too. A new Susquehanna poll shows the president just took the lead in Arizona. We expect him to win that state. And Trump has been holding steady with a 3-point lead in Florida. Republicans looking very good in the early voting there. He also leads in Michigan, another Trafalgar poll. Now, this pollster, he's the only guy that accurately predicted Trump winning Michigan in 2016. That's a significant poll. Trump has a 2-point advantage on Joe Biden in Iowa. We expect him to win there, but Biden up by about 5 in Pennsylvania there. That's another tough battleground for the president. Joining me now to discuss, Turning Point USA founder and author of the MAGA Doctrine, Charlie Kirk. All right, Charlie, I wanted to talk to you because you've been out there. I'm in the studio. I don't get to go out and travel the country as much as I used to anymore. You've seen the crowds. You've been to a bunch of these states. What are you seeing and what are you hearing and what does it feel like?
Yeah, we've done over 15 states in just the last couple weeks, from Florida to Arizona to Ohio, Texas, Georgia, battleground states across the country. And the enthusiasm for President Trump is at record highs. And look, there's one thing that I'm hearing from a lot of people, though. It is evident that the Democrats are outspending President Trump and Republicans. But it's also clear that we are outworking the Democrats. We are knocking on more doors. We are making more phone calls. The president is doing more rallies. This will be a question, in my opinion, in the next 10 days. Can you purchase an election with the help of the billionaire class, like Joe Biden is with his help of his friend Mike Bloomberg and the tech elites? Or can President Donald Trump win the election again with the true sovereign in this country, we the people? I am seeing enthusiasm and energy unlike anything I've ever seen, including in 2016. However, Jesse, I don't think we're there yet. I think we still need to get our friends to go to the polls. Yep. I think that we still have that one last push. If I were going to give my honest analysis, I think we're trending towards victory, but I think we still have work left to do.
Yeah, he wants to leave it all out in the field. You know, you're in the red zone. You got to finish with a touchdown. The momentum is there, and I agree. Mini Mike, what did he spend? $500 million, and he won a few delegates in America's Samoa? I mean, money cannot buy elections. The president beat crooked last time with half the cash. And you're right. Biden's spending a fortune on the air, but he's not on the ground. And I don't know, maybe people get annoyed listening to all the Biden ads. I think we'll see. He's also deploying Barack Obama. I saw this as a strategic mistake. If I was running the Biden campaign, I would have put Obama and Joe on the same stage together in the same picture. That reminds Democrats that they were on the same ticket. They were in the White House together, but they're not doing that. They're deploying him to places where they think they need help. Right now, I think he went to Philly because the black vote's not turning out in Pennsylvania over the mail so far. And then he was in Miami today. Barely anybody showed up. It looks like early voting numbers have not been hitting targets for Democrats in Florida. What do you think about Barack Obama back on the trail? It doesn't seem to be making the splash that he used to.
One of the biggest lies that the media has been telling the last couple of days is that Barack Obama is the X factor. In 2016, he campaigned heavily for Hillary Clinton. That did not work well. And then Barack Obama campaigned heavily for Andrew Gillum in Florida in what was supposed to be the blue wave. And Ron DeSantis is now Governor DeSantis. Barack Obama made no impact in 2016, and he made little impact in 2018. Barack Obama is not going to move this race for Joe Biden. The only way Joe Biden wins is if the tech elites and the media continues their diabolical character assassination campaign against President Trump, and enough people are unfortunately misled. However, I remain optimistic, Jesse. I remain optimistic that people out there are going to bring their friends to the polls, that they are going to turn in their ballots however they feel the secure method to do so, voting early or actually handing in their ballot. Because I think, and I feel underneath all of this, that the American people have grown tired of a ruling class that lives above the law, that has a separate set of rules for them, and also seems to continue to benefit while the middle class and the muscular class of this country sees their wages go down, their schools closed, and 9 months of lockdowns. So Barack Obama going out there and trying to rev up the troops, I don't think that's going to move the dial at all for Joe Biden.
You know, you're right. It's shaping up like another David and Goliath situation, even though you have an incumbent president.
That's right.
But he is now the underdog, because when you have an alliance between the big media conglomerates, the big tech monopolies in Silicon Valley, and the entire Democratic Party, you're throwing billions and billions of dollars. You're throwing tens of thousands of employees who spend all day long just launching all-out war on this president, on the people he represents, suppressing the vote in terms of stories. And, you know, you're going to see, if you're right, you're going to see if the people of this country can overcome that powerful wave of money and corruption, because that's really what it is. It's corruption. Right. I'll give you the last word, 30 seconds.
You're exactly right, Jesse. It's corruption. And for everyone watching out there, we need this to not be a spectator sport. Get involved, knock on doors, get your friends to the polls, make sure you vote. If we do our job and we make this an activist moment, not a spectator moment, the billionaire class, the tech elites, the Wall Street bankers, they will not know what hit them with their diminishing return of billions of dollars, and we will make sure this country remains in great hands.
Thank you, Charlie. It's like the president said, Joe's getting all the cash from Wall Street.
That's right.
It's a Democrat getting all the cash from Wall Street. I bet a lot of people don't know that. All right, check out Charlie's book, and we'll see you later.
Thank you.
Soon, President Trump to take the stage in Wisconsin for his final rally of the day.
We're going to make 3 stops today, big ones, big rallies, 3 big ones. Crowds have never been, I don't think there's ever been anything like this. There's tremendous spirit. I hear we're doing very well in Florida, and we're doing very well, I hear, every place else. So thank you very much, and you're going to be very busy today because we're going to work you hard.
Mr. President, who did you vote for today?
I voted for a guy named Trump. Thank you very much, everybody.
President Trump voting this morning in West Palm Beach, Florida, talking about the energy on the trail. And that energy loud and clear tonight in Waukesha, Wisconsin. The president is about to take the stage for his third rally today. But a very different story for the Biden campaign. The wheels are falling off. Joe said this today.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
He wants to put a voter fraud organization together? And his running mate, Joe, his running mate doesn't even know what state she's in. Watch.
Hey, Cleveland!
What's going on? Joining me now to react, Trump 2020 Senior Advisor for Strategy, Steve Cortez. Where are you, Steve?
I'm at campaign headquarters, Arlington, Virginia.
Okay, good. At least you know where you are. Good. All right.
I know exactly where I am.
So we saw kind of an angry tone from Joe today. I don't know if you saw some of his campaign's internal polling, or maybe he's just kind of in shock after that debate on Thursday. The president seems to be a little sunnier, obviously more energetic. Tell me about what the closing argument is for this campaign the last week or two.
You bet. You make a great point. I think Joe Biden thinks that screaming at people and calling voters chumps is voter outreach. That's not get out the vote strategy. But listen, before I get to the actual policy strategy, I want to just say a word about this approach that you've mentioned, because this is really shaping up now, these final days of the campaign. In a lot of ways, it is morning in America on one side versus the dark winter on the other side. And what I mean by that is that this president is out there hustling, barnstorming the country, and he's acting as an inspiring leader. And he's convincing the people that there is a revival afoot in this country and that it can continue a great American renaissance, a recovery. On the other hand, we have Joe Biden warning of dismal doom. He's like a combination, an insipid combination of Nurse Ratched and the Grim Reaper, telling us that there is a looming dark winter ahead. No, there's not, just Joe Biden. The sun is not setting on America. The sun is rising on America, and we need the kind of leadership who will inspire that. But to get to specific policies as well, because, of course, we want to go there. The number one issue far and away on voters' minds is the economy. It's also the issue on which we have the most compelling case to make, that the economy that Donald Trump built, both in the first 3 years of his presidency before the China virus artificially halted that economic rise, and then the economy that he is again rebuilding right now. All the recent economic statistics are just astounding. Wall Street, they are defying the critics. This is a country that is charging and roaring back to life. The way to accelerate and continue that momentum is to rehire Donald Trump as our national CEO. But we're also going to be defining the opponent. We're going to be doing the job that the corporate media won't.
Right. And I know you've done a very good job of that the last week. I think you know what we're talking about there. In terms of October surprises, it looks like for the first time in a long time, Republicans in the driver's seat. The Democrats don't have any ammo left. I mean, what do they got? They did the dossier. We've had more whistleblowers than a football scrimmage, anonymous leaks, his taxes. I feel like they're out, and they have a week to go, and the president is hammering this corruption theme really hard, and he's got the receipts. Are you getting traction on that?
No, 100%. We absolutely are. And it's showing even in public polls that I think are largely flawed. Even there it's showing. It's certainly showing on private polling. The American people, I think, smell a rat here quite rightly. They know that Joe Biden's explanation was a diversion when he tried to claim that it's Russian propaganda or Russian disinformation. That's ludicrous, okay? Tony Bobulinski is not a Russian agent. This laptop, that laptop from hell, it's from hell. It's not from Moscow. This is not Russian disinformation. And this man, Joe Biden, is disqualified from being president of the United States because the evidence increasingly points to him selling out our country to the most dangerous enemy on the planet, the Chinese Communist Party. And the American people are becoming aware of that fact.
All right, Steve, appreciate you coming in. And at least you know where you are. Can't say that about Kamala Harris. President Trump to rally Wisconsin very, very soon, and we'll bring you that when he takes the stage. You're looking at live pictures of Waukesha, Wisconsin, where President Trump is expected to take the stage soon for his final rally of the night. The Biden campaign rocked this week by the Biden family's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, who said Joe did know about his son's deal with a Chinese energy firm and is, in fact, the big guy referenced in those emails about him getting a cut. But the media is still struggling to handle the scandal.
Talking about the Biden's personal corruption, a little bit about Hunter Biden. Most of those charges unverified.
Charge is so heinous, I'm not even going to say them. Just nonsense, with no evidence, just completely made up. The nastiest, ugliest smear campaigns online in the history of American politics.
If you're not immersed in right-wing media...
And we're cable hosts. What are they talking about? I don't know. Some laptop.
No one knows the details of these conspiracy theories.
I said it at the top. They're cornered because if they report on it, Biden's toast. And if they don't, their credibility's toast. Here now to discuss, PragerUniversity.com founder Dennis Prager. I can't believe this thing. I can't be verified. They don't want to verify it. They could verify it. They don't want to. And as a matter of fact, Dennis, I could say the Biden campaign's unverified because I never see the guy. I can't tell if he's actually running.
Jesse, the issue is clear to me, as clear as the sun in the sky on a sunny day. I've studied the left my whole life. I was at the Russian Institute at Columbia University, and I studied Russian to read Pravda. So I have been immersed in the study of the left, and I have said something all of my life. Truth is not a left-wing value. Now, I want to make this clear. It is a liberal value, and it is a conservative value, but it has never been a left-wing value. That is why Lenin named the Soviet newspaper Pravda. Pravda is Russian for truth. The truth is what the party says it is. Right now, the New York Times is not liberal. The Washington Post is not liberal, etc. They are left. And the truth is what they say it is. So they really are closer to Pravda than they are to newspapers of 50 years ago. That is the reason that this brazen lie that it's not verified, whereas Russian collusion was verified, something they spent 3 years on. So if we don't understand the bigger picture, it's useless. The left does not value truth. It never has.
You know, it's interesting you use the word. It's language that they're kind of taking language and they've weaponized it. And if you bring a charge, they say that's debunked. And then they just leave it at that. And it's only been debunked by them.
Right.
And they're debunking it is just denying it. So do you think Joe can make it the next week without being asked the straight up question? Because here's the killer question. I've said it. Joe, are the emails real or are they fake? That's the question he needs to answer.
Well, the president basically said that, and he said this is Russian disinformation. And that
what part of it? But what part of it is the computer made in Russia? Is this decorated naval veteran? Is he Russian? Where is Russia here?
All right. So I'm going to reverse roles and ask you a question.
Okay.
And that is, who is going to ask Joe Biden that question?
No one.
CNN? The New York Times? Who's going to ask him that?
They're going to ask him what flavor ice cream he's getting.
Yes,
you know?
that's
right.
It. What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, God. All right, Dennis. I don't even know what to say. It's sad. And, it could work. I mean, they could drag this guy over the finish line, this corrupt guy, and he could survive this. I don't see it happening in my heart
but
and my gut.
The key lesson, if people understand that truth is not a left-wing value, but it is a liberal value and a conservative value, something good will have come out of this.
All right. That you can some middle manager in Iowa can say something mean on Facebook, and CNN is at her doorstep turning her little life upside down in 24 hours. But they can't pick up the phone to the guy's email address on the emails from the laptop and say, hey, is this you? And the guy says, yeah, it's me. They confirmed it.
Just remember,
that's what
people
Fox did.
should just know their kids in school are learning the 1619 lie of the New York Times, which won a Pulitzer Prize. So that the America was founded in 1619, not 1776, and its whole purpose of founding was to protect slavery. That is what your children are learning. It was created by the New York Times, and it is a lie.
No wonder they're tearing down Columbus statues. All right, Dennis Prager, I got to run. Prager University.
Okay,
Everybody knows what that is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just moments from now, President Trump taking the stage in Wisconsin. We'll bring it to you.